X, but I wanted to make sure that we delivered a Sunday but I wanted to make sure that stream as well, because we've been doing these Sunday streams and I've been enjoying them. I think that they're a lot of fun. It's great to kind of get a moment just to sit down with you guys, kind of prepare ourselves for the week, talk about wrestling, kind of refocus and have a little look at what's coming up on the next shows. So we can do that. I've got information for Raw and NXT. I think there is a bit of information out there for SmackDown, but to be honest, it feels so far away that I'm only really focused on Raw and NXT because that's the next 48 hours. So let's take a look, shall we? We'll do the preview and then we'll jump into the chat. We'll talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. Of course, we do need to talk about Misfits as well, so we'll definitely get to Misfits. We'll definitely get to our thoughts from last night. But let's start with the previews so that we can kind of get that out of the way, if you will. So Raw, we have got a undisputed tag team championship match. We've got Cody and Jay taking on Finn Balor and Damian Priest. We've also got Rhea Ripley taking on Shayna Baszler. We've got Riddle taking on Shinsuke Nakamura in a Falls Count Anywhere match. We've got Gunther against Bronson Reed in an Intercontinental Championship match. So, a big season premiere. A couple of title matches coming up. Falls Count Anywhere match. Rhea Ripley is going to be in action. So actually, this week's Raw in 24 hours time looks pretty juicy, looks like it should be a pretty fun show. So lots for us to get our teeth into over that. Gunther against Bronson Reed is going to bang, man. I'm fully expecting Gunther to win. I really think Gunther's going to get the victory. I don't think Bronson Reed is the one, but he could be the one. He could be the one. We've said that anyone that Gunther goes up against now has got a chance because that record has been broken. So there's no need for Gunther to keep extending this record. So we saw Tommaso Ciampa get an opportunity the other week, and he just fell short. I think Bronson will just fall short as well. I think it's probably Chad Gable. I think it's probably Chad Gable that's going to be the one that will eventually beat Gunther. But fun little match that. Not a match I was expecting because it's two heels going up against each other. So, fun little contest. And then on NXT, we've got Baron Corbin against Carmelo Hayes against Dijak. That's a number one contenders match. That's interesting because, of course, the winner will go on to face Ilya Dragunov for the NXT Championship. We've also got Lyra Valkyria taking on Tegan Nox. Tegan Nox coming to NXT this week. Obviously, we're coming off the back of a stack show, man. Coming off the back of that Tuesday Night War. So there's no way that this show was going to be as big as that, but we're still going to feel the repercussions of that. And one of the repercussions, of course, is the Bada Boom, Bada Bing Battle Royal. That was made on the show last week. Loads of tag teams are going to be in the Battle Royal. As soon as we get down to the final two, the match will end. And then I don't know if we do a match straight away between those teams or if the match is later in the show or the following week. But basically, we do a Battle Royal. It gets down to two teams, and then those two teams have a match at some point. And the winner of that will then go on to face Stacks and Tony. So, bada boom, bada bing, battle royal. Pretty fun. So that is NXT. And the other thing on NXT as well is the fact that Cody made one last decision, and we don't know what that is, but he made one last decision whilst he was general manager last week. And we don't know what it is, but we're going to obviously wait to find out. And I haven't even seen any rumors as to what this could be, but he made one last decision. We'll find out what it is on Tuesday. I don't think it's going to be anything massive. I don't think it's going to be anything seismic. I'm not seeing anyone talk about it. It was just a little tweet, a little message that got put out. Maybe he'll mention it on Raw, the fact that he made this one last decision whilst he was GM. But that just adds a little bit of intrigue for Tuesday, which I'm excited for. So, yeah, I think Raw is the season premiere, and we've got some title matches. I think it's looking pretty good. NXT, obviously nowhere near as stacked as last week, but we've still got a bada boom, bada bing battle royal. We've still got a number one contenders match. We've still got Cody with a little bit of intrigue. We've still got Lyra Valkyria against Tegan Nox, which could be fun. Could be a fun little match. I don't know why, but I see those two as being roughly about the same level. I think it's because Tegan just hasn't really got going on the main roster, and Lyra has been doing some pretty good stuff recently. She's been heavily involved with the title. She's been everything but champion. She's competed for it a few times, and we know that she's going to go up against Becky soon for that title as well. So sort of feels like Tegan is right at the bottom of the main roster, and Lyra is right at the top. I'd be very interested to see which way that goes and who wins. So looking forward to that, to be honest. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Kian, shout out to you, said, what were your thoughts on the face-to-face between Roman and Cody, Solo, Jimmy, Jay on SmackDown? Did you see Karrion looking at Roman after it went off air? I didn't see Karrion looking at Roman after it went off air. I think it's probably just a little tease, a little something. But no, I didn't see that. Is that footage that was? Did you say it was after it went off air, or? I don't know. That doesn't do anything for me, to be honest. I don't think there's anything like to that. I think we've been waiting to try and find out what we've been doing with Karrion. Karrion's got a new group that's coming in, or at least we think he has a new group that's coming in. If he is around now, that's good, because it means that we might start making some movement on that new group. But I don't think it's anything more than just a little tease, a little like Karrion's doing something now, which is good, because it's been a while since that group tease. For those that missed it, he did like this little promo. It was quite interesting. And he sort of teased that he knew he couldn't like go on his own anymore. And so, like, the strength in numbers kind of a thing. And so we've been waiting for some sort of development there. We've been waiting for ages. So I don't need him against Roman or anything like this. I'd like to develop that, if I'm being honest. So hopefully we do get something along those lines on Friday, potentially then. In regards to the face-to-faces, yeah, I mean, I think they'll be on a collision course. I think they'll probably face at Crown Jewel. I mean, that would feel like it would make the most sense for us to do Cody and Jay against Solo and Jimmy. I don't think Solo and Jimmy would win that. It's hard to know which way the Bloodline story is going. There's still lots of different ways that we could go. So it's kind of hard to know which way we're going to go. But yeah, I don't think that we would put the tag titles on those two. It's still kind of hard to know how Roman feels about Jimmy, because there was a bit of tension there, and you could tell that they're not quite on the same page. I didn't feel like we massively addressed the elephant in the room. I think it might be because we've got to find the next challenger for Roman. Like, we need to find Roman's opponent for Crown Jewel. Obviously, we found that person. It's going to be LA Knight, but we didn't really have any time to kind of really get into the whole Jimmy coming back into the bloodline after everything that had happened type stuff, you know. I think that the bloodline story has been so good, like attention to detail. And I think that's been a big part of the story. Like the attention to detail has been so good that now that it's a little bit looser, right? Because it does feel a little bit looser than what we've seen in the past. For a few different reasons. One of them just timing. And as we said, you know, Roman's been away, so we haven't been able to really do anything. Now he's come back, we're in a bit of a rush because we've got to find his opponent and we've got to build that up, and we've got so much we need to do. Like, now that Roman's back, like every second is precious. It means that we can't tie up all the loose ends at the moment because there's too many loose ends. There's too much that's going on because Roman's been away for so long, and so it means that a few things were kind of left hanging a little bit, I felt. And we're starting to have conversations now of people saying, "Are you tired of the bloodline?" And people saying, like, "Has the bloodline outstayed its welcome?" And things along those lines. I don't think it has. I just don't think it's as strong as it was. You know, I just think the story where it is now is not as great as where we were 12 months ago, 8 months ago. Like, I just think that kind of post WrestleMania, we've been running on fumes, and Roman's been away. Hopefully now that he's back, we can kind of get going again, you know, we can really start to get somewhere. It kind of does feel like we're in the dying stages of the story. Like, I know that Paul Heyman said not that long ago that we were in like the third innings. Cody said we're not in the third innings anymore. It does feel like we're very much towards the end of the story. I expect the story to be done within the next 10 months, if that. You know, I mean, potentially I would say WrestleMania, but I think it may go past that, because if we are doing Roman versus Rock at WrestleMania, I don't know that the Bloodline story will be done by then, because I don't see The Rock winning the title, because The Rock is obviously Hollywood. He's not going to be sticking around. If he's not sticking around, then why would he have the belt? So I think that we would be looking at Cody being the one. And when's Cody going to do it? If he's not going to do it at WrestleMania, then it's got to be somewhere like SummerSlam. So in my mind, I've got SummerSlam circled in a pencil as being the place. But that's only because WrestleMania doesn't feel possible because of The Rock, unless we do Roman versus Rock night 1, Roman versus Cody night 2. But we've kind of had that discussion about, you know, is that the right thing to book? Like, does the one thing overshadow the other thing? Is it worth risking the fact that Roman could very easily get injured on night 1 and then that completely messes up night 2? Like, it's a big gamble, in it. It's a big gamble. I certainly wouldn't be interested, and they could do it, but I wouldn't be interested in Rock versus Roman versus Cody. I wouldn't be interested in that. I'm not a fan of triple threats anyway, but I just think that Rock and Roman, that to me would be quite personal, and Cody being in the match would just be in the way. Like, I feel like Cody and Roman is that is a match for the title. That is Cody trying to reach the mountaintop. That is Cody trying to finish the story. That feels like it's its own match, whereas Roman versus Rock, that feels like it's its own match as well. So putting them all together into the same ring at the same time just feels very messy to me. It doesn't strike me as something clever. That doesn't strike me as like, oh, we can have our cake and eat it. Like, we can do everything at the same time. it just really feels like everything would get in each other's way. So I certainly wouldn't be looking to do something like that. So, I mean, look, if you can do Rock versus Roman, I think you do Rock versus Roman because it's too big. I understand the argument of like, it's big match, isn't it? I mean, we're talking record breaking, so I think you have to do that match. So, yeah, Kian, great comment. But I think I haven't seen the carry and stuff, but forwards. Man United Hodge said, big win for